We are going to start in 2-3 minutes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to the last preparatory webinar of Modern Knowledge Europe, Spring Edition 2021. That is part of the activities that Modern Europe organized for the preparation of Modern Knowledge Europe brokerage event on the 23rd of March 2021. So this is the last preparatory webinars. I take the opportunity, since now I want to thank my colleagues, Isabella Gervasio, Anca Popa, and Serena Amico for supporting the preparation, the realization, the implementation, the communication of this webinar, that today will focus on the last but not least cluster one of the pillar 2 of Horizon Europe, which is on health. And there's an interest, of course, for the sector on health because of many components that connects human health, human and animal health to the water sector and to the water as such. We are going to see today all the destinations of the cluster 1 or pillar 2. So let's go ahead. with introducing to the few or to the many, I don't know, that might not know what the Europe, what the Europe is the European Technology Organization for water, and is the recognized voice and the support of the water-related research and innovation activities in Europe. And our mission is to improve the coordination and the collaboration in the water sector to improve the performance and competitiveness of the water ecosystem and contribute to solve the global challenges through research and innovation actions at global level. Some domestics, we start at 4, we finish at 5. During this event, as well for the previous 6 ones, your mic are muted all the time, so it means that you cannot speak directly, but you are very much welcome to address your questions and comments via chat. This can be done, I mean, either through the chat of the webinar itself, or through LinkedIn or Twitter, if you are connected to one of these media channel. The participants will receive a link, that they can download this presentation as soon as the presentation will be ready. And something else that it might be interesting is that Water Europe already made a deep, full analysis of the available documents concerning the work program of the Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe for 2021-2022, and this deep analysis, deep assessment concerning the water-related calls will be provided to the participants of Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition 2021 from 22nd to 26th of March. The agenda today is the focus on the Cluster 1, which is health, with the destinations and the related water calls in this destination. We're going to have a question and answer session. We're going to give some information about the Connected European Union for Health program, some information to those who are not already aware of the matter, that the HEU agencies of the Commission are dramatically changing for the next 7 years, and some information about Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition 2021 and how to connect and how to join us at the end of March. So the scope of this meeting, of this webinar, is to introduce the Horizon Europe water-related calls for proposal for 2021 and 2022, with a focus, major focus on 2021, of course, because they are opening in a short time. This to support the stakeholders of the water ecosystem that wants to develop a project application or create a consortium, that are very much suggested to join us on the brokerage event on the 23rd of March, and to present also the change of the new package of European Commission HEU agencies, which has relevance as important, because as you know, projects approved, granted projects, funded project under Horizon 2020, and the same would be for Horizon Europe, will be followed up by the HEU agencies of the European Commission. What we are presenting now, it is, the state-of-the-art knowledge of the contents of the Horizon Europe Pillar 2, different clusters, and today the Cluster 1, it's available today in terms of information and content. But even though there are a few weeks left to the official opening of the call for proposals, something might still be changed across the few weeks that are in front of us. This is the timeline of Horizon Europe with a budget that everybody knows now. The strategic plan is really close to the adoption. It's a matter of a few days. The launch of the new European Innovation Council, it is on the 18th and 19th March 2021, and there will be a specific events for this that you can find easily on the web. The main work program are being finalized, and the first deadlines for the calls will fall within the 3rd and the 4th quarter of this year. here we are on the pillar 2, on the global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. This is the overall architecture of Horizon Europe with the 3 almost traditional pillars. Between the pillar 1, that is on excellent science, the pillar 2, that is our focus today, and particularly on the cluster 1, health, and the pillar 3 with the European Innovation Council and European Innovation Ecosystems and Institute of Innovation and Technology. Then apart from this, we have the missions and the partnership, but it is, I mean, a bit too early, I mean, to speak about this. And today, let's have our concentration, our focus on the health topics. For those that didn't participate to the previous webinars, it is important to bear in mind that the call for proposals of Horizon Europe comes from a complex pathway, which is made of, on the top, on the priorities, policy priorities of the European Union on the development, sustainable development of our European societies, which were translated in a strategic plan with key strategic orientation. Impacts have been, expected impacts have been identified. That, I mean, helped, I mean, to create the paper, I mean, the work programs that are made of destinations, areas, and at the end of the pathway, the call for proposal, or the calls for proposals. We can start with the cluster 1, health, today, as we said, and look that there are key sentences and key words to be taken into account about this cluster. So, and this also provides you some reasoning, I mean, some rationale also about what we will see at the end of this webinar about the creation of a new agency, a new executive agency on health and digital topics, because as you can see, the cluster 1 wants to unlock the potential of data-enabled research and innovation in order to have, I mean, digitized health systems and competitive and secure data economy. At the same time, this cluster looks at the environmental issues about the health technologies, and what the cluster wants me to support efforts in order to reduce the energy consumption, the waste, the pollution, and the release of harmful substances, including pharmaceuticals, into the environment, and into also the water, the soil, and the air. Let's say in the nature. The aims of cluster 1. You can see, I mean, we highlighted a couple of key sentences. On the one hand, this cluster wants to deliver more personalized and effective care with less resource wasting. So we can, I mean, it's an old sentence, but it's still valid. We can do better with less. On the one side. On the other side, we want, I mean, to develop what? I mean, technologies that can support the well-being of our societies, the economic prosperity, and the environmental sustainability. So you can see that the attention of the Commission to environment and sustainability, development, sustainable development, and resources is always in any cluster, and also in this cluster concerning health. Cluster, as we said, is made of destinations, and we picked, I mean, the destination that could be more water related. And then we have the destination 2, that is about living and working in a health promoting environment. What did we highlight? We highlighted that research and innovation support under destination 2 contributes to which area? Clean and healthy air, water and soil, and the climate change mitigation and adaptation. Once again, the focus of the Commission, the focus of Horizon Europe, also in the health sector, and in particular in the destination here, is to support what? Support, I mean, having, I mean, a cleaner, healthy environment, and to support these difficult challenging battle concerning climate change mitigation and adaptation. For the destination 2, we have 5 topics. That is, there are 4 research and innovation actions, of which 3 in 2021, and no innovation action, no coordination and support action, and will be another kind of call in this bundle of topics. The destination 1 will be equipped with quite, a substantial budget in 2021 with about 230 million euro, and just a small one in 2022 on 20 million euro only. On the one hand, it is also good to, to take into account that concerning the health sector, Europe, it's not only Europe, but the planet at global level, we need also better health system, health support, because the COVID-19 crisis is still hampering our development, is still hampering our society, and we need to have quick, effective responses, particularly from the health sector. Destination 2, we have a number of impacts, and we highlighted a number of impacts also here. And we can start from about the matter that the destination 2, in terms of impact, expect that policymakers become aware and well informed about environmental risk factors, of course, social, economic, occupational, as health promoting factors across the society. So the environmental risk factors, or preventing them, can contribute to a sustainable development of our society. Again, we need to connect health and environment, and you see that one important area, important impact, is that the upstream determinants of diseases that are related to choices that we make in terms of energy generation, in terms of how we run our agriculture practices, how we run, our industrial production, how we use, the land and the built environment construction are known, understood, and reduced. So the connection between living and working conditions are connected to how we use the resources of our planet. Another point that is very important is to see that there are health threats that burden resulting from chemicals, and water and soil pollution. So the contamination overall is reduced. So once again, we have these 3 components of environment: air, water, and soil, where pollution plays an important role in reducing the capacity of our society to be resilient, to be effective, to use resources in a proper way within the boundaries of our planet. You see that there is a focus on living and working environments in European cities and regions, which is important because most of the citizens in Europe live in the urban areas. The capacity of the population and system to be adaptive and resilient to what? To climate, environmental change, health risks, because they are evidently connected, and the prevention of disease and inequalities that relate to environmental pollution degradation is also prevented. And the citizen plays an important role here because we need the citizen to better understand how much it could be complex, the relation between environment and health. These are the list of possible water-related causes for destination 2. The first one is it's a research innovation action, which has a substantial budget around 60 million euro, and is the environment health. You see me, this environment health is the name of the area, 0203. And it is about the impact of health impacts of climate change. And you see, I mean, the cost and the benefit of action, or the cost and the benefit of non taking action. But what is the focus? What is the focus of this core? Climate change, stressors made by natural and human-made activities, of course, have an impact on human health, and because this, what creates? It creates, I mean, change in biodiversity, change in the quality of the ecosystems, change in the natural habitats, complex and difficult to manage changes and modification in the land use that causes the global warming, the heat waves, and floods, which are recurrent problems in our society, and across the winter, across the summer, any time of the year. So all these events, and let's say the disruption of the biodiversity, of the ecosystems, of the habitats, of the lands, and of the climate, it is strictly connected to the epidemiology of infectious disease and increasing pollution. That is creating increasingly new threats to human health. Of course, water here is an enabler. It's an important player in the ecosystems, in the biodiversity, in the habitats, in the proper utilization of lands. It is at the basis of floods. So we don't have floods without water. So as you can see, water here really represents a very important role. And in terms of expected outcomes, this the project should support the European Green Deal activities with scientific evidence, and support to adapt, I mean, our health systems to be more resilient and more innovating in order to support also the prevention and the mitigation of climate change related health risks. This is a proposed partnership under the Cluster 1, which is a co-funded action with 200 million. It's not a core for proposal itself, I mean, for traditional project, but it's a core for the European partnership of the assessment of risk from chemicals. This is the PARC. There is the need for innovating the chemical risk assessment, really, I mean, to improve appropriate protection of the environment and human health from hazardous chemicals. And I would just to remind you that this is an important area for research, where contaminants of emerging concern are under the lenses in terms of research and innovation. And as you can see, this is a partnership that requires a strong connection with European Green Deal policy areas and the other partnership like Farm to Fork. The other strategies like Farm to Fork, biodiversity, the 8th Environmental Action Program, and the Zero Pollution Action Plan for air, water, and soil. And the last point in terms of feature is supporting the development of a circular economy, including a better waste management. And in wastewater, as we know, one of the main challenges in our waste management system. The destination 3, it is about tackling disease and reducing disease burden, which has an important role in creating bridges, links, and synergies with the other clusters of Horizon Europe through this cross-sectoral collaboration. I think that you will listen, you will hear me this cross-sectoral collaboration, these 3 words many times across Horizon Europe and beyond Horizon Europe, because it becomes important to have a collaboration that goes beyond thinking in one single box, but is able, to break the silos and establish forms of collaboration that are able to put together the different sectors of our society and economy. For example, this is an example with the cluster 6, where, as you remember, water it's one of the cross-cutting issues, and so this is a link between health and food bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. On what? On health security and human, animal, plant, soil, water, health. So this is a kind of new nexus, as you can see, because it puts together the health of not only of the humans, not only of the animals, not only of the plants, but the health of the water and the health of the soil. And of course, there will be the need for having a digital approach, digital transition, digital support, in order to allow the decision support systems to be proactive and able to respond quickly and in a proper way, as well as, of course, we need also to have collaboration with the cluster 3 about civil security for society, about the emergencies and security for health. In destination 3, we have 14 topics. We have 10 research innovation action equally divided into 2021-2022, no innovation action, and 3 coordination support action, of which 2 in 2021 and another kind of core in 2022. The budget is also substantial here. We have 262 million in 2021, a bit less to 2,207 in 2022. And here in destination 3, basically we highlighted something that it is well known, but once again, the Commission points the finger on waterborne diseases that requires to be combated. So it means that we are not free from waterborne diseases. Water can carry a lot of excellent things, but can carry also a lot of diseases. And in Europe, we are not free from waterborne diseases. And this way we can really support destination 3 in achieving the challenging objective of reducing the disease burden. Destination 3, to highlight the matter, that is a destination where calls encourage international cooperation, particularly creating partnership with Africa. You can see here the list of the selected calls for water. And the first one is the disease 0403 is a coordination and support actions with a small budget, 2 million euro. And it is about the approach to enhance poverty-related diseases research in sub-Saharan Africa. So it's a clear international cooperation call for proposal, where the main feature is to combine the medical and/or the pharmaceutical technology with other scientific areas, such as mobile technology and digital technologies, big data processing, and other emerging technologies to support the challenging objective of this call. Look, this is important because this gives you an idea of the cross-sectoral importance to reduce disease. And as you can see, in terms of expected outcomes, the main objective is to have a better understanding of poverty-related infectious disease, including waterborne disease, which is still, in not only in sub-Saharan Africa, let's say, in most of Africa, a real menace that requires to be tackled quickly and soon. The next core about tackling diseases is another coordination support action for additional €2 million. It is building a European research and innovation partnership for pandemic preparedness. Well, I mean, I think that's now we all know what is a pandemic. Maybe that we know even too much. I think that the damage that our society is suffering because of the COVID-19 pandemic it's emblematic. And so we need, I mean, to create a partnership for pandemic preparedness. Well, again, water is one of the components where that can be useful in terms of monitoring the pandemic, being able to be an excellent indicator on how the pandemic can spread. I mean, through urban areas. I would like, I mean, to remind here the excellent work made by the GRC in this concern, and one of the main features of this core is really to prepare, I mean, the groundwork for this research agenda that is innovative, visionary, in order to be able to be prepared to tackle pandemics. Now we go to Destination 6, and Destination 6 is maintaining an innovative, sustainable, and globally health industry. So now health is an industry at the end of the day, because it is an industry. And we highlighted an important observation by the Commission about the matter that it is true, we have new pharmaceuticals, we have new substances, we can afford today, I mean, to really, I mean, to tackle a lot of diseases in a different and more effective way than a few years ago. But at the same time, there is an increasing problem of environmental pollution due to the life cycles of the pharmaceutical. It's not only the production, it's the utilization, is the disposal of pharmaceuticals. So what is the need? The need is to consider pollution due to the manufacturing, as well as the pollution that is resulting from the utilization and disposal of the pharmaceuticals really seriously, because it's becoming one of the most important challenge in terms of reducing the pollution of our environment. We have 8 topics for the Destination 6. 4 will be for research innovation action between 2021 and 2022, and 4 coordination and support action equally divided between the 2 years of the work program. We have an indicative budget of 44 million in 2021 and 69 million in 2022. And in Destination 6, we have a number of impacts. What we highlighted, it is, on the one hand, to have the capacity and to have, I mean, the benefits from the improvement of key manufacturing capacity in the health industry. On the other side, we can see that the citizen, let's say the society, the healthcare providers, the health system can benefit from a quick uptake of the new technologies, the new innovations in the health sector. So in different words, I mean, to reduce the time and the gap between research and innovation and the market and the utilization of what we are able to, the findings from research and innovation. And we want to support the health industry to work in a more efficiently way. Also because the health industry is made of a long value chain, and we need really to identify solutions that we can scale up and take up in the system quickly and in an efficiently way. We have only one here, but important water-related course for Destination 6, which is green pharmaceuticals. It's a research and innovation action. It offers around 40 million euro for the projects that will be proposed, and is the industrial IND 0701, Green Pharmaceuticals. I think that this title is emblematic, and what the proposal would support is to have greener pharmaceuticals that are able to have a less harmful impact on the environment by identifying, developing, implementing, thinking, and rethinking a manufacturing process that will be more sustainable, greener, and more economically sustainable as well. So it means that if you look at the outcomes is, better understanding about the environmental impact of the pharmaceuticals. The main feature is research and innovation, strong support in order to have new greener pharmaceuticals. That this is important, that degrade readily to substances that have no impact in wastewater treatment plants and in the environment. So here, the focus is what happens after that pharmaceuticals are being used, because most of them, they are just transferred into our wastewater treatment plants and in the environment with dreadful impacts on the biodiversity, on the environment as such. And this also will be accompanied by a research on ecotoxicity and environmental fate of pharmaceuticals. So it means that other key words, of this course is that we need to improve the technologies, the manufacturing technologies, in order to have greener technologies that are able to reduce the emissions in the air, in the water, in the soil, and be less energy intensive in the production. Questions for this session?
Yes, Andrea, we have one. Is oil from wastewater healthy?
Sorry, it is?
In your opinion, is oil from wastewater healthy? I don't know. Oil from wastewater, I don't know exactly. It's not specifically detailed, the question.
Oh, I would like to invite the participant to send us an email, and we'll be happy to respond.
Okay. So there are no more questions.
Okay, so we go to the next session of the webinar, and we have closed the water course of the cluster 1 on health of Horizon Europe for the first 2 years. But at the same time, I would like also to highlight the matter that Horizon Europe is not alone, or rather, these are calls for proposals, these are destinations that becomes, I would say, from policy and strategies of the European Union. But it's also true that we need to see what is around the research and innovation environment. So the European Union is also launching the EU for Health program, 2021-2027, that wants to build what? A resilient health systems in the European Union. Still, again, on the wave of the impact of the COVID-19 crisis that put in difficulties each and every health system in the member states in Europe, and of course beyond Europe at the global level. But this health program will invest almost 10 billion euro into these areas of action, tackling the cross-border health threats, making the medicine available and affordable for all, and strengthening the health system. The funds in order to support these health policy priorities will be also available, as we saw, through Horizon Europe, but also through the European Fund for the Regional Development. So I also suggest that you see what is going on at the regional level, the Rescue EU, the EU Emergency Response, and the Digital Europe program. Please remember that From 2021, let's say the new priorities in the new model, the new structure that the European Commission is given to the system in order to be resilient and have a sustainable growth for our society, health is strictly connected to the digital transition, as well as water is strictly connected to the digital transition and the restoration of the environment and the biodiversity in Europe. The EU Health program is made of 3 main areas, so tackling the cross-border health threats, as we said before, and here you can find, some more details. Making medicines available and affordable, which also means, as you see, to support innovative medical products and greener manufacturing. And for greener, once again, I remember that is not just a matter of having a greener manufacturing at the time of the production, but it's the capacity of these medical products to be environmentally friendly at the end of the cycle. So not to be to have an impact, a dreadful impact on the environment once that have been used and are disposed. And strengthening the health system, that is also important, and you can see that there are some details about these areas and sub details that are interesting to follow up. Now, it is nothing to do with health, but it is just a reminder about the matter that we have been talking about across these 7 webinars about Horizon Europe Pillar 2 and the clusters. Well, many times you have seen that the calls were research and innovation actions, were innovation actions, or coordination and support actions. When we speak about the first 2 categories, research and innovation actions, the so-called RIA, or the innovation action, the so-called IA, they make the reference always, a number. This magic number is called the TRL. This is the technology readiness level. And here you can see the scale matrix of the TRL. So what is the meaning of having a call for proposal that expect projects providing solutions that are TRL 4.5 or TRL 6.7? What does it mean? You can see, if it is 4, it's technology validated in a lab, and then you have a detailed description of what is, through an example, what is this TRL, or could be TRL 7, which is an innovation action, where the system model or the prototype demonstration in the operational environment is done. And this means that is a major step increase the technological maturity. So the higher we go in terms of TRL, the closer we are, to the industrialization and market uptake of the solution. Of course, this is a pathway. We start from basic research. Basic research is able to produce the results that can be turned into innovation. Innovation will have another growing pathway towards, the demonstration and the capacity of producing innovative solutions proven to work in operational environment. And this is the last step before going to market and to, let's say, the market uptake. Now, some information about how to proceed after this webinar. On the top, join us at Water Knowledge Europe on 23rd of March. And if you have project ideas, we are welcome to present project ideas as well. Come join us and listen directly from the European Commission what will happen on Horizon Europe, but not only with that, we see it later. But if you want to have more information to be focused on how to get support, for instance, from the national contact points, or if you want to enter directly into the Horizon Europe funding and tender portal, here you have 2 QR codes that you can click with your mobile and you can enter directly into the respective websites. Updates. Well, not many updates. compared to the last webinar that was 2 days ago, just the launch of the new European Council on the 18 and 19 March 2021, and the first calls for the applicants will be open on the 18th of March. Please remember that the call proposal will be one stage only. So it means that the effort will be substantial in order to produce a project proposal, even though you can see that the template for the project proposal will be smaller and significantly smaller, because the length, there's a length cutoff from 70 to 40 pages for the RIAs and EAs, and up to 30 pages for coordination and support action. So it means that the project proposal will be much smaller than in Horizon 2020. The new Horizon Europe General Model Grant Agreement have been recently published. You can find it in the link that is in this presentation. And as you know, the Brexit is an agreement that UK can fully participate in Horizon Europe. Some information about the executive agencies for 2021-2027. You can see here, I mean, the new Health and Digital Agency. Now, I mean, if you went through, you were with us in the analysis of the Cluster 1 or Pillar 2, you see why there is a new agency being created by the European Commission, new executive agency that will put together the health and the digital topics in one agency. And this is also because health, as I said, will be strictly connected to the digital transition. The other agency, you see, the ASME will have a smaller portfolio than before. It will be more concentrated on support to small, medium enterprises and interregional innovation projects. While, I mean, the former INEA will concentrate the efforts on climate and environment through the new agency called SINEA, which will include the LIFE program and the Pillar 2 Cluster 6, climate, energy, and mobility. The new REA, that will be the European Research Executive Agency, as I mean, a considerable growing portfolio, because you can see that will be responsible in implementation for in the Pillar 2 for the Cluster 2, 3, and 6, which are particularly important for the water sector, particularly the Cluster 6. While, I mean, the EHEA, that was, I mean, the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, has a stable portfolio and will not change from the previous period to the next 7 years. Now, I mean, just a look to the Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition 2021. Yes. Sorry
for interrupting. No, there's a question, so later we can go further with our events. Can pharmaceutical packaging research and innovation be considered fitting with the Cluster 1 calls?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't hear you well.
The sustainable and preserving materials, this is the topic for pharmaceutical packaging.
Yes, yes.
Can be considered fitting the Cluster 1.
Yes, because also packaging, I mean, it's another area, important area for reducing pollution, and it's not only in the cluster 1. Innovating packaging that are able to reduce the impact on pollution and the degradation environment is more or less in a number of clusters, including the Cluster 6. So yes, of course, yes.
Okay, no more questions.
Thank you very much. So, Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition 2021. So we are done. We carried out 7 webinars that covered all the clusters of the Pillar 2 of Horizon Europe. All these webinars are available on demand because the recording is available, as well the presentation. And it has been a nice effort, and for which I want to thank the Water Europe team for the great support. But now let's go for a while to Water Knowledge Europe spring edition, what will happen on 23rd, 24th, and 26th of March. There are a lot of other things, in between, but I want just to focus on these main three openings. Water Knowledge Europe brokerage event on 23rd of March. We are going to have the European Commission presenting Horizon Europe, the Digital Europe program, the European Innovation Council program, and the LIFE program. This is what you can get just from listening to, but then you can also listen from world stakeholders that are presenting project ideas, or you can be the ones presenting project ideas. Registration are still open. You can organize B2B meetings. You can meet whoever you want who is available among the participants of Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition 2021. You can meet DC officers. You can become part of consortia. So join us on Thursday, March 23rd. If you are more market-oriented, there are big openings on digital water and cybersecurity on 24th of March, where you can present your solutions to potential clients. You can find a solution to your digital problems in the water sector, on cybersecurity sector, and this will happen on Wednesday, March the 24th. Otherwise, if you are interested, and I think that you might be interested in see what's going on in terms of circular economy policy agenda about water, you can meet the leaders of the most important Horizon 2020 funded projects in the water in the circular economy on Friday, the 26th. And to register, please drop an email to my colleague Anka Popa, who is the events coordinator for changing your registration. Why it's important to be with us? Well, Water Europe members are the core participants of Horizon 2020. This is a study that stops at 2019, but will be completed up to 2020. Calls and see that in an average, more than 70% of the projects, it could be RIA, coordination and support action, or bio-based industry, see Water Europe members as partners of these projects. This is the draft agenda of March 23rd, Water Knowledge Europe. You can see we have a number of European Commission representatives explaining and presenting the new programs, and really there are a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to be done. And please, if you have project ideas, don't be shy. Join us, come up and present your idea at Water Knowledge Europe to the audience of Water Knowledge Europe, where you can build your consortium, present your project idea, improve the networks, and meet partners. Water Knowledge Europe as a fee is not for free, apart from these webinars, which, by the way, allows you to get a 15% discount when you want, if you want to participate to the Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition, and is €75 for the Water Europe ambassadors, 95 for the members of Water Europe, and 115 for the Water Europe non-members. If we don't have any other question, we are at the end of this webinar. I would like to thank, really everybody for joining us across these weeks. We started on February the 2nd with the first webinar on Cluster 6, and we arrived to the Cluster 1. We do hope, and when I say we, I say the Water Europe team, that we have implemented something that was interesting and useful for the water stakeholders, to have a better knowledge of what's going on in Horizon Europe, or what will be the opportunities in the coming months for the first call for proposals. I don't know, Isabella, if there is any other question to which we can respond. No other questions. So you're welcome to send us, to address us via email your question in the coming days, or to ask clarifications about how Water Knowledge Europe Spring Edition works. And once again, thank you very much to my colleagues for the precious support and contribution. Thank you very much to all the participants. And well, see you at Water Knowledge Europe on 23rd of March, and enjoy the evening and the weekend. Goodbye.